Taqueña. On Mind, Body and Soul, relaxing lavender and magical mint. Healing under pressure and getting straight to the point with shiatsu. But first, controversial coffee for good sports. Many of us know that good quality carbohydrates such as oatmeal are essential to eat the day before a major endurance sport event. But you may find it surprising to know that a good strong cup of coffee will help you absorb and utilize this energy more effectively. Now researchers from the UK have opened a can of worms by proving the phenomenon. What effect will this have on caffeine laws in professional sport? Caffeine was a banned substance for professional sports people for years, but was recently taken off the World Anti-Doping Agency's illegal substances list. Prior to that, athletes had been banned from the sporting arena for testing positive to excessive levels. Now, according to an English university, caffeine is a proven performance enhancer. In the lab, endurance sportsmen such as cyclists and triathlon competitors took part in 3 exercise trials. Each session lasted 2 hours, with athletes cycling at 55% of their maximum power output. Athletes were fed one of 3 drinks during exercise: glucose, caffeine and glucose, or plain water. All were specially mixed to taste the same. Scientists were looking to see if the caffeine mix increased the rate at which carbohydrate is absorbed by the system and utilized as energy. Blood and expired gases were measured every 15 minutes to ascertain this. The results have been positive. Adding a mere 5 milligrams of caffeine per athlete's kilogram of body weight increases the absorption of carbohydrate by 26%. This is potentially a major energy boost to endurance athletes during performance. The results of the research are said to have discussions at the World Anti-Doping Agency all in a flurry, as caffeine use amongst athletes comes before the board again for review. But banning caffeine totally from athletes is a nigh-on impossible thing to do. The chemical is present in so many processed foods, from chocolate and nuts to coffee and cola. It's also used as a flavor enhancer in foods you'd never even associate it with. Sportsmen wouldn't even know they were ingesting it. And it's no use setting caffeine limits for athletes. The smallest amount of caffeine, even 1 cup a day, could have performance-enhancing qualities. Increasing your intake to 10 cups is probably not going to improve on the effects of the first, according to researchers. Whatever the outcome of caffeine consumption for professional athletes, one thing is for sure: it's definitely a performance-enhancing substance. Italian architects are busy figuring out how to light up the lives of the public. Growing concerns about energy conservation is encouraging a university in Turin to design buildings incorporating more natural sunlight. So it's hello to clean air and vitamin D, and goodbye to pollution and depression. Turin is famous for its neoclassical architecture. The city's architects have always been aware of how important light is to the overall beauty of a building. But even they couldn't tell how the light would interact with designs, such as the Palazzo Madama, until the actual building was built. Now, all that is about to change. This should shed some light on the architectural subject. 25 luminous panels, each covering 10 fluorescent light bulbs, which have been arranged to mimic the natural light inside buildings in all different meteorological conditions. It's important for human beings to be exposed to sunlight every day. It helps with vitamin D absorption, which staves off depression and helps the body absorb calcium. It's enough to sit in the sun on a cloudy day, exposing the backs of your hands and face for 15 minutes. But people who work from 9 to 5 in northern cities in winter go to work in the dark and come home in the dark. Being exposed to as much natural sunlight as possible during working hours while being inside the building will increase the general health of workers. architects test the effects of light on the model under 25 different weather conditions. The models are modified according to the time of day, season and latitude. Small cameras are placed inside the model to give an ant's eye view of the light's interaction with the building's interior. This is how the building would look under a clear December New York sky. They can even calculate the effects of pollution on the overall light scheme. Buildings being designed to improve the lot of the environment and public health are essential for the future of the planet. Sometimes a walk through your own garden can reveal a multitude of magical plants that have been used therapeutically for ages. Remember Grandma's insistence that lavender was relaxing. And 1,001 Moroccans can't be wrong as they pop mint into their tea on a daily basis. These two plants are readily available to most of us, and you don't need a particularly green finger to cultivate their healing powers in your backyard. A tea made from peppermint is a good old remedy for a bloated tummy after a rich meal. That's where the tradition of a fresh mint sauce with lamb came from. Along with chamomile and fennel, mint can cure a colicky baby. Ask your naturopath for the right amounts and applications. The tea also regulates heartbeat and purifies the skin in adults. The essential oil is fabulous for headaches, toothaches and rheumatism. Mint spread around the pantry will keep unsanitary mice away. The University of Cincinnati assures us that smelling mint improves the concentration. Some large Japanese companies pipe essential oil of mint into the air conditioning to stimulate workers and increase productivity. Lavender is legendary for its therapeutic properties too. 5 drops of essential oil on a spoonful of sugar lowers high blood pressure. Thanks to lavender's anti-inflammatory properties, we all love to rub the oil into our aching muscles during a relaxation massage. And if you suffer from dandruff, psoriasis, acne and other skin ailments, lavender may have something to offer you. Lavender is also antiseptic, so giving the kitchen bench a good wipe down with it will keep it germ-free. And since it's also an insecticide, ants and flies will evacuate the premises immediately. So there you have it, 2 very common plants that have been used therapeutically by common folk for thousands of years the world over. Go for a walk to your local nursery and pick up some mint and lavender, especially designed for the black fingers amongst us. An ancient medicinal plant has made a comeback thanks to the wonders of archaeology and modern science. The successful germination of a 2,000-year-old seed takes us back in time when date palms were used by desert peoples for food, medicine and shelter. The baby date palm, nicknamed Methuselah after a biblical figure that lived for 1,000 years, has already grown to 30 centimetres. An archaeologist discovered and preserved the seed 30 years ago when he was excavating an ancient fortress called Masada. Scientist Elaine Saloui decided to wake the seed up by soaking it in warm water, treating it with gibberellic acid, and feeding it a good quality organic fertilizer. 5 weeks later, the first shoots appeared. At first, the baby plant was sickly and pale looking. But thanks to Elaine's tender loving care, it soon developed the healthy chlorophyll so crucial to its survival. Now, natural medicine research scientists are taking a keen interest in the baby palm. In biblical times, palms such as Methuselah reputedly produced dates that were used medicinally as a tonic for longevity, a cure for infection, a diuretic, and an aphrodisiac. Modern palms are missing these nutritional elements. DNA analysis will finally reveal if baby Methuselah has the legendary properties. Even if the tests on Methuselah bear no fruit, modern dates are still worth including in your diet. They're a good source of B-complex vitamins and potassium. They have slow-release energy sugars for your bloodstream, and the oil from the crushed seeds has just been found to reduce wrinkles by 30% when applied topically. If you feel a snack attack coming on, step away from the chocolate bar and satisfy your sweet tooth with a couple of dates. This revered fruit of the ancients is available at any supermarket near you. Most people have heard of hyperbaric chambers. They've been used for years to heal divers from decompression sickness when they rise to the sea's surface too quickly. But hyperbaric oxygen therapy is coming into its own as a healing technique for many other ailments. And what's more, it can be quite a pleasurable way to spend a few hours. Before entering the decompression chamber, you have to take off your shoes and make sure you're not wearing a skerrick of makeup, moisturizers or creams, hair products or nylon stockings. Grease of any sort is not allowed. The chamber is an airtight room often made of steel, aluminium or clear plastic. This one has portals in the side to facilitate visual communication between the patient and the technician. This chamber is equipped with a comfy reclining chair and a DVD player to keep the patient occupied for the 2-hour treatment. Getting healthy whilst watching Harry Potter, it's a great way to keep the little ones calm. Once in the chamber, the technician increases the pressure from normal sea level, such as we experience every day, to a higher pressure depending on the patient's injury. As the chamber is pressurized, the patient hears a loud hissing sound and experiences popping of the ears, much like you are taking off in an airplane. The mask provides 100% oxygen for the patient to breathe. Under such pressure, the oxygen is completely dissolved into the blood's plasma. In effect, the patient's blood is saturated with oxygen. This encourages more white blood cells to travel to the site of damage in the patient. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is particularly effective for people who are suffering slow healing wounds. Diabetics with wounds due to lack of circulation, people with necrotizing flesh from acidic spider bites, gangrene, infected skin grafts all benefit from hyperbaric medicine. The extra oxygen encourages the formation of new vascular vessels and nerve endings at the wound site. The therapy is also effective for people who have been poisoned with cyanide or carbon monoxide gases. The extra oxygen blocks the cell toxic effects of the gases. People suffering from cancer are using the therapy to relax and heal themselves. Experts are quick to point out that oxygen at these levels is a drug. The dosage of this drug is administered with caution, as oxygen toxicity is a danger. This is why it's imperative for the patient to ensure the technician has been well trained for at least 6 months. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a great way to speed up the body's healing processes. Of course, you must be referred by a medical doctor if the therapy is to be used for the treatment of illness. If you're claustrophobic, it may not be a good idea for you to try this therapy. But for the majority of us, hyperbaric medicine is a breath of fresh air. A couple of months ago, Dean had a minor accident that left him immobile for 8 weeks. He slipped down the stairs on a wet day, injuring the ligaments in his right knee. He has also developed back and neck problems. Intense physiotherapy is doing Dean the world of good, but he's in search of a complementary therapy which may help to speed up his healing process. Dean has come to visit Japanese shiatsu therapist Emma Danchin. Shiatsu was developed in Japan and is a fusion of Chinese massage and Western manipulation techniques. Emma diagnoses Dean by asking him questions regarding his injury, and other aspects of his everyday life. Sometimes Emma asks patients how they're going at work and if they're having any emotional problems. How is their quality of sleep? What is the nature of their digestion, elimination, sight, hearing and breathing? Emma looks at Dean's tongue to ascertain further information regarding Dean's health and notices that there is possibly excess heat around the tummy area and damp in other parts of Dean's body. Words used in Oriental medicine to describe how the energy is flowing or not flowing in the body. After Emma has plotted Dean's information on her charts, she invites Dean to prepare for a treatment. Shiatsu is performed at floor level on a futon, and the patient is always clothed and covered with a sheet or blanket through which the massage is performed. Shiatsu incorporates the intuition of the practitioner. To get in tune with Dean's energies, Emma places one hand upon Dean's hara center or belly and the other upon her own. She establishes a breathing pattern and allows herself to feel the energy. She must channel energy in order to heal Dean. Shiatsu uses the system of meridians and energy points that are employed in other Eastern healing arts, such as acupuncture. However, instead of inserting needles, Shiatsu uses pressure to stimulate the acupoints. Emma uses various parts of her body to apply pressure to Dean's body. Her thumbs, fingers, palms, her knees and feet apply pressure to open the points. Pressure may be hard or soft. The aim is to positively influence the ki, or vital energy, to activate the body's self-healing ability. As Emma acts as a conduit for universal ki energy, she must be relaxed and in tune, as over-effort on her part could obstruct the flow. Cupping is also employed in Shiatsu to draw out pathogens and budge stagnant energy. Emma applies oil to Dean's back and heats the insides of the cups to construct a vacuum, which will help the glass attach to Dean's skin. She moves the cups up and down Dean's back to encourage circulation and energy flow. Spooning is also used to the same effect, moving stagnant energy out of the body by using the pressure from the edge of the spoon as it slides down the back. Manipulation of the body is used in Shiatsu. Emma works on Dean's back and neck muscles and musculoskeletal system. Emma prepares some moxibustion cones. Moxibustion is also used in Chinese medicine, but Japanese moxibustion is a gentler affair. The cones are made of the herb mugwort and are placed over some of Dean's acupoints. Emma lights the tips. They will gently stimulate the internal warmth of Dean's body. Emma ends the session traditionally with 3 strikes of the brass bowl. Dean's pulses are checked at the beginning and end of the session. Emma wants to compare them to ensure there has been some immediate improvement. Overall, Shiatsu can help you bring your awareness back into your body. It can heal you on a physiological level of illnesses such as muscle pain, stiff joints, migraines and asthma, and on an emotional level, releasing depression, anxiety and stress. It challenges your tension-holding patterns, encouraging you to simply let them go. Treatments will promote relaxation, circulation, courage, and trust in oneself. Sessions last between 45 and 105 minutes, depending on the condition of the patient. Connect with yourself again. Experience Shiatsu firsthand. Greenhouse gases gunking up the atmosphere and sooty fossil fuel deposits clogging up people's lungs could become a thing of the past. ITER fusion could give the planet a clean bill of health, but the clock is ticking as development of the new technology takes its time. The new clean form of energy has caused its fair share of political tussles as Japan and France bid to be the first country to host a reactor. Building the ITER fusion reactor will cost €10 billion and create tens of thousands of jobs. But a happy compromise has been reached, with Japan set to develop the new technology and France set to build it. ITER energy is a new form of energy based on plasma fusion. It has the potential to be the cleanest and cheapest form of nuclear energy on the planet. But it's not without dangers. The reactor would have to retain heat 10 times that of the Sun, and the cost of the project is astronomical. But the world is willing to take the risk. This could be mankind's last great hope for a never-ending supply of clean green fuel. The reactor is a tokamak design, a donut-shaped chamber where a thin gas of superheated hydrogen can be controlled by powerful magnets. The temperature inside the chamber will be hundreds of thousands of degrees Celsius. Scientists have been working on reactors like this for decades. This is a similar affair built in Culham in the UK. Scientists can't wait to take the technology to all new levels. When the fuel is hot enough, the hydrogen plasma begins to fuse into helium. The byproduct of the chemical reaction is intense levels of nuclear energy. Until now, scientists have expended more energy preparing the reaction than has actually been yielded by the reaction.
We have produced 16 megawatts of fusion power, but to heat up the fuel, we had to put in 25 megawatts, so it wasn't actually producing more power than was put in. ITER, which will be twice as big in every dimension, so 8 times or 10 times the volume, will produce 500, 600, 700 megawatts of fusion power with about 50 put in. It's simply a matter of getting it bigger.
This kind of nuclear energy would be a blessing for the planet, creating negligible radioactive waste and no greenhouse gases. A reactor the size of a fossil fuel plant could run on a single bucket of heavy water per day. But building this reactor could take as long as a decade. And the building and the funding of subsequent reactors for daily household electricity could take another decade after that. With air pollution levels rising and greenhouse gas emissions sending the environment into meltdown, can the planet wait 20 years for a solution? Join us again on Mind, Body and Soul as we discover more paths to health and happiness. But for now, Dominique gives us some food for thought.
Your perception will govern your reality. The universe is always two-sided, presenting you with 50% positive, 50% negative. This is quantum physics. You can choose to focus on the perceived negativity of your situation, or you can choose to focus on the upside. There is always a blessing in every challenge, always a positive to every negative.